Hey guys, Ryan and Chastity here, and we absolutely love The Last Jedi, but it left us with a ton of burning questions, like too many.
Oh yeah, so many. And we're also looking ahead to episode 9 and what might happen there. But before we jump in, enter our giveaway so you can win your very own Chewbacca holding a porg. Can you get cuter than that? You cannot. Please enter by clicking the link in the description below.
That is the cutest thing in the world, and also be sure to subscribe because we have a ton of Rick and Morty breakdowns as well as the best of 2017. Warning guys, there are spoilers ahead, but you already knew that.
So many. Watch the movie first.
Alright, first up, Chastity, it looked like Luke Skywalker died at the end.
There's no body. There's no blue Force ghost yet. You can't tell unless there's a blue Force ghost.
That's true, that's a good point.
Yeah.
He basically was projecting himself across the galaxy, and it sure looked like he just vanished, like as Jedi do, but he's no longer in his physical form.
Right. So who can tell what happened to him? Like, there was a lot going on at the end. Like, he projected himself across the galaxy somehow with dice in his hand. Who knows? I don't know. He seemed to be touching Leia's hand. He seemed to be interacting with people, and he had an actual lightsaber fight. So that must have taken a lot out of him, I feel like. But
yeah, it's like you have one shot at that, and it expended all of his energy, and basically now he's gone. But my guess is that we're going to see him in, obviously, the next one as a Force ghost.
yes. Or they'll just pull a big old twist on us and be like, he's still alive, he
never
teleported.
died.
Wow, the Force is strong with this one.
Yes.
Also, how did Kylo Ren never realize that Luke wasn't actually there?
That's a big question that I had as well. You would expect for one of these Jedi to know what is real and not real. Rey and Kylo earlier on, they were like, whoa, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
But they knew they weren't physically in the same area. For Luke to be just basically toying with him at the end there, and to not realize that that's not really Luke Skywalker in front of you.
Is that a weakness on Kylo's part, or
I
is
think
that
it
just
is.
like an incredibly strong Luke Force thing going on?
That's a good point. I think it's a little bit of both, like you said. Luke Skywalker, the strongest of the Jedi, but also Kylo Ren is not very wise and doesn't have a lot of like experience with this, obviously, right? He's a little erratic, he's a little bit impulsive, makes decisions based on his feelings, he's all over the place. So him not knowing that it's not the real Luke Skywalker in front of him isn't a far stretch.
Yeah, I think Kylo's just arrogant enough to assume that Luke would show up for...
Just for him.
Just for him. Just me versus you. We're the strongest and we're gonna fight. Of course this would happen.
As if Luke's been waiting his entire life to get back and fight him. Like,
Luke's not gonna travel that far to face you. Who are you?
He doesn't care.
He doesn't care.
Speaking of Luke's little meditation and projection to crate, he also brought some dice with him.
Yes,
They
it
were
seemed like he brought actual dice through space.
Like physical dice.
Put them in Leia's hand, then they were on the floor. Why did she leave them on the floor?
Yeah.
Because like Kylo picks them up, she was just like, oh, these.
Yeah, bring those with you. don't leave them around.
Yeah, I think they did disappear in his hand at the end.
Yes, they did.
But still, how does he bring
a physical
objects
object with him, and then it disappears? So it wasn't real. It was just like a manifestation. And those dice were, of course, a throwback to Han Solo's dice that he had in the Millennium Falcon, the ones that he supposedly used to win the Falcon off of Lando Calrissian back in the day.
But that's a rumor.
That's a rumor.
That's what they say.
That's
in the
what
bars.
that's what they say.
Yeah. I've got a big question here. How the hell did Leia survive in space for that long? She was out there for a while.
I have no clue what the answer is for this. Like, she was out there for a little bit too long for my liking, but she clearly is an extremely strong, force-sensitive person.
But do her powers come consciously or subconsciously? Was it because she was at the brink of death and then all of a sudden she was super strong with the Force?
Yeah, because remember back in the original trilogy, Luke said, like, you have the powers, you'll find them too. But she never did the training like Luke did. So, like, it was always inside of her, but she didn't go through with the Jedi. And why not explore that?
Right.
I was really wondering, why not explore that? Why didn't she go through training? Why didn't she try to do everything she could to, help her fight with the Resistance? But wow, what an act of power on her part to just like, I'm gonna float back into that ship. I'll be fine.
Masterful, but seriously, she should have been brain dead or something. She's a little too strong there. And then she was just like, fit as a fiddle.
And then everyone just watching like, wow, okay, cool. Oh, she's back. Yeah, regular day, let's go.
If I don't make it back, you're the only hope for the Alliance.
Luke, don't talk that way.
You have a power I don't understand and could never have.
You're wrong, Leia. You have that power too. In time, you'll learn to use it as I have.
All right, a huge question that we also have is, who or what is Snoke?
What is he?
What is he?
Who is he? We never get his background. We
Yeah.
never find out what species he is. We know he's a humanoid species, and we know from the Star Wars databank that he is very strong with the dark side of the Force, and he seduced Kylo Ren to the dark side of the Force, but that's all we know. We just know he has a weird, mangled face, and he got sliced up.
He's extremely evil. He is extremely confident in that room. He knows that he's seen a lot of things. He's very powerful, obviously. He has the Force lightning. But I would have loved to know how he got there. You know, his story, or a little bit of how he managed to corrupt Ben Solo and turn him against Luke Skywalker. We didn't get any of that, and I don't know if we're going to find out in the next one. I think it's like, okay, we did that.
I think we do need answers there.
We do.
I hope that Kylo Ren does explain how he turned to the dark side of the Force.
A little
in the
flashback.
next one.
Here's what happened, guys.
A little tiny flashback. That's all we need. We just need a couple of lines. Also, you know how he projected himself in the last movie to Kylo Ren and to General Hux? You don't know how strong Rey is. Like, she could be so strong that she could just kill you as soon as she walks into the room.
Yeah.
Why didn't he just project himself into that room? Why
Good
would
point.
he just be like, yeah, hey, what's up,
Yeah.
Rey? I don't know how strong you are, and I'm just gonna sit here for
It's-
you to kill me.
It seemed like he had been like watching, obviously he's been watching Kylo Ren for a long time, but watching Rey and Kylo and knew all these things that were going on.
Mm-hmm.
So for someone that powerful, it would have been nice to just get a little bit more background or context into how that all happened.
I need answers.
I need answers too.
All right, so is Kylo Ren the main big bad here? Is he gonna lead everyone? Because he and General Hux were just both yelling orders at people, and everyone's just like, who do I listen to? I guess I'll listen to both.
Who's in charge?
Who's in charge
Who's my
here?
manager? I find it shocking that Kylo Ren would be the only big bad
Right.
moving forward here.
Now, are there any other Sith?
Yeah, is there someone behind Snoke?
Jar Jar.
You know, the rule of two, obviously, is supposed to be two Siths at one time, but Snoke kind of threw that out the window when he trained, obviously, Kylo Ren and also the Knights of Ren.
Interesting.
But, yeah, it'd be shocking if it was just Kylo because he's such a flawed villain. He's like, literally torn between
It's just
light and dark.
An angry toddler.
Yeah, he's like has too much power, and he's way too
Yeah.
young with that power.
Yeah.
And
Fire everything at him! Just everything, just fire on him! And they're like, this is excessive, when do we stop?
Exactly. And I also think it doesn't bode well for Hux because, man, that guy has the worst gig right now in the entire galaxy. I mean, he is, like, talk about, like, this dude that has Force powers and he's, like, breathing down your neck and doesn't like anything you do. So I would be shocked if they didn't have some other main big villain in Episode 9.
Let the past die. Kill it. If you have to. That's the only way to become what you were meant to be.
All right, another question I have, will Kylo and Rey be the first gray Jedis referenced in these feature films?
I think so.
That would be awesome.
I think so. Like, Kylo's not all the way Sith. You can see there's still some good in him.
Yeah.
And Rey is very conflicted, but she seems to be in touch. And the dark is pulling her.
Yes, definitely.
Very strongly.
Yeah.
So I don't think she's going to be completely light. But she's definitely not going to be completely dark. I think she's going to fall somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, and I think it'd be awesome because we've seen this reference in Star Wars Rebels before, and I think it's a natural progression for the trilogy to the main feature films to do something like this, to kind of evolve the whole light versus dark and have some sort of balance in between. So I think it'd be really cool if they did do this moving forward, and there's been so much hinting at it and talking about, you know, being torn between the two, that I think it's kind of the natural thing that's going to happen.
Yeah. Will there be a time jump between Episode 8 and Episode 9?
I think so. Between The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, obviously it picked right off from that movie. But I think there's going to be a bigger time jump here. I think maybe 5 to 10 years. I think there has to be significant stuff that has to happen and regrouping on the resistance side as well as the First Order. Like, a lot of people were depleted. A lot of people died. And then the whole thing with Carrie Fisher's passing, unfortunate passing. How will they deal with that as we get into Episode 9? It's a huge question.
Actually, Kathleen Kennedy said that she won't be in Episode 9. No CGI, no nothing.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that changes, but I heard that there was a total rewrite of the script. All right, what's going on in that big ol' hole in Octu? Like, what's with that cavern where Rey saw a bunch of mirror images of herself and she started snapping. Like, what was that about? Did you make anything out of that?
Just a lot of water. Yeah, just a place to go swimming. No, I think the whole thing was obviously about the Force being everything around us, in us, outside, and the darkness kind of pulling her down into the depths of this island, underneath all the lush greenery and all the amazing creatures and everything. And it was a moment where she just kind of got pulled into, the dark side of the Force and the questions and the doubt that she has inside of her mind at all times. And it was just her kind of facing her fear of not knowing who she is.
Resistant ray.
I kind of saw a parallel there to when Luke goes off on Dagobah and then he sees Vader and he freaks out a little bit, and that's kind of what happens to Rey, but not so much. She doesn't fight anyone. She just tries to find out who her parents are. I don't know. Still,
I thought for sure we were going to see some crazy reveal right there.
I was like,
who
is it?
My heart was jumping out of my chest, and I was like, oh my god, who is it? Yeah. I'm like, oh, it's just a mirror.
Yeah, but that also could symbolize maybe that she's just a magic baby. And not, she didn't have, shitty nobody parents. She could be a magic baby like Anakin.
Amazing. Another question, how did the First Order track the Resistance fleet through light speed? What technology is this? Guys, thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions from The Last Jedi and theories moving forward, please let us know in the comments below.
Also, don't forget to enter our giveaway to get Chewbacca holding a porg, the cutest little Funko Pop there ever was. Just click the link in the description below, and we'll see you next time.